You know, sometimes you don't realize you kind of have like an addiction until you kind of kickstart the addiction. And I'm not really talking about all the swords here. I mean, not really. I'm talking more about really big swords. Hello, my name is Thomas, and I'm addicted to really big swords. Anyway, that's why I have this box in front of me. A really big box. Yeah. When I unpacked the Odachi, I said it right this time, guys. When I unpacked that thing and realized how kind of cool it was and how much I liked it, even though it was, lower end, I decided I needed another big sword. So I'm going to unbox this thing, and we're going to take a look at what's inside. Shift it down this way, and I'll just open it at this end. Oh, and there it goes. A little bit heavy on that one end. And I will note that it's actually not normally my thing to just constantly buy lower end swords, although I do that a lot, as you can see by many of the windless products that I have. But I decided this is one that I need to go ahead and pick up. So I'm going to try to get it out of here as best as I can. I might get it. There we go. There we go. Alright. So, this one doesn't come in a fancy box or anything. But that's okay. I wouldn't keep it in the really fancy box anyway. I'd keep it on display. But here it is. This is the very different, in a lot of ways, Nagamaki. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Always, everyone, forgive me for my terrible pronunciations of things. But this is the Musashi brand. Maybe it's Musha brand. I don't know. It's all the same company, really. But this is their Nagamaki. It's kind of paired with the Odachi that I have right back there behind me. The only real big difference is the length is roughly the same, but of course the blade, which is covered in plastic right now, and I'll take off, is shorter. The blade is basically katana length. Now, I wasn't going to buy this as quickly as I ended up. You notice I said as quickly as I ended up because, let's face it, I was going to get this eventually. But what really kicked it off for me was good old Metatron did a really fantastic video on the differences between a lot of the larger Japanese swords. He talked about what is an Odachi, what is a Nodaichi, what are these things, why are they called that. I think he has an incredibly good video on this topic, which I'm going to link below in the description because I think everyone needs to go watch it. Really, really good conversation. And I'd been eyeing this. It had kind of been on my list for a while because obviously it would be because it's very, very unique, right? But I didn't really kind of go out of my way to pick it up until Metatron mentioned that this is actually one of his favorite styles of swords. And I thought, you know what? I need to have a good representation of Metatron in my armory. So that whenever I look at this, I'll think about my good friend. Yeah. It's actually pretty cool. I like it. It's very interesting to have what is essentially almost a cross between a sword and a spear in some ways, but obviously very much a katana style blade, about the same length. In fact, I'll take a moment to show this. I'll come back here and I'll grab my katana here. And as you can see, the blade length is maybe a little bit longer in this case, right? So maybe it's kind of a, what is it called, a ko-katana? Slightly longer blade, but it is a very short blade for the overall length of the weapon. And I have to say, it's a very interesting sword. I have no idea. Let's just set that down there. I have no idea how to use this kind of weapon. So it kind of sits in my armory as a weapon I wouldn't really know how to use. I imagine I could make some things up. I will note that it has a very similar design to the Odachi that I have, specifically with the Tsuba. I'm already noticing a couple of flaws with this. Hard to know if it happened in shipping or just by the nature of it being a cheap sword. First impression stuff though, the Suba here is actually bent. I don't know if you can see that. You can see it's maybe a little bit bent there. That's unfortunate. There's a couple of little nicks in it. I see a little nick here, and some little markings that I need some like Goo-Begone to get rid of. But that's all right. I'm not too concerned. This is a relatively inexpensive version of the Nagamaki. So yeah, interesting sword. Metatron, if you're watching this, thank you for making a fantastic video talking about these things, because I think you put to rest a lot of the issues that people have talked about throughout time, the differences between all these different kind of large Japanese swords. The saya, I think is how you say it, the scabbard has some markings on it. That's supposed to be for Miyamoto Musashi. Put this back in. This, I don't know if you can really tell, the scabbard is not super high quality or anything. But yeah, I wanted to just add this to my collection. I went ahead and bought a large stand back there to place this on. So I figured I would just kind of put it all together in one kind of nice grouping. It's making me really want to not get necessarily larger swords, but definitely expand my armory into some of these other regions of the world. I got a lot of Chinese swords I'd like to pick up besides the ones I have. And I think I'd like to get a little bit more in the way of some Japanese weapons just in general, not just swords. So probably not the best habit or addiction to have, but I gotta say I kind of love adding these things to my armory because it really makes it a nice blend of all these different cultures. I can talk about how weapons are so different. I will note, since I'm standing here in this video with this t-shirt on, I'm going to make another plug for another YouTuber, another good friend, KnightSquire. He designed this shirt. It's a really great shirt. It's of the German longsword masters. I don't really know who is supposed to be who, but you're going to have, obviously, Lichtenauer, Meyer, Ringek, those people. I'm not sure who all is actually represented here. You have to go ask him. But he made this shirt. I'm going to link in the description below where you can purchase it. As soon as he designed it, I was like, I got to get me one of those. So KnightSquire, thank you for a wonderful t-shirt design that I get to add to my collection of t-shirts now. So I'm sure it'll make appearances in future videos and reviews, etc. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching me unbox a very brief unboxing, but this ridiculously oversized sword that I'm very, very proud to add to my collection. Cheers, guys. See you next time. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. You can also check out Medieval Review on Patreon.